So people are generally upset with the way that our government is acting. This is what democracy looks like. And we're trying to teach the government that they have to respond to us. We are what the government is made of. We are the people. We are the ones that they are supposed to be taking care of, and they haven't.
Hello, my dotlings. So, get ready for a montage of protests with Jay and I, mostly here at the state capitol. Woo! Woo! We did get one in Washington.
Yes, and Parkersburg.
And Parkersburg. Yeah, that was a fun one. That was a fun one. So, let's talk about what you can do besides just protest, but also get your ass out here. Where the fuck are you?
Right.
Okay, so we're going to have to ADHD our way through this in a relatively, probably kind of jacked up manner because honestly, I am a chicken wing. Deep fried, slightly salty, and very spicy at this point because I think we did this once already.
Decision makers, sometimes when they are faced with the most difficult decisions, I'm sure they may feel at times like
a bunch of pseudo-moralistic heretics. Oh look, it's the last time I shaved my head. I'm sensing a theme. That's a whole look right there. Woo! You know, every time I think I've lost my mind, I have to stop and remind myself that I never really had one to begin with, and people love me anyway. Okay, so I kind of wanted to do like a tip, trick, alternative for each one of these protests. And obviously, like, I would say that the first one is probably to maintain your mental health, protect your peace. And honestly, I will say that last year it got so out of hand that it ended up locking up my channel for almost a year, trying to get that video out, and I'm trying not to do that with this video. So it's a little slapdash, but we're getting it done. Let us not let perfection get in the way of done.
We're on the bus. We're going to Washington. Say hi, Jay.
I'm excited.
We got here super early so we could get window seats. That's not why we got here super early. We're gonna miss the bus. We're the first people to show. Well, second people to show up. The bus wasn't here before we got here.
So honestly, this one was long enough ago now that I am having difficulty remembering everything. But we were going to we were going to a rally at the Supreme Court. Yeah, Jay's there asleep. I did not sleep, which is why I have such an awful look on my face, because I did not sleep at all. Anyway, so it was December 4th. Tennessee had basically tried to pass the ban on transgender care for minors, and it became a high-profile case, and we were going there because the first transgender man to ever present in front of the Supreme Court was doing it that day for the first time. So it was a pretty cool experience, and I'm glad I went. But also, I did not sleep on that bus. It was awful.
Say if they're going to do things like that, for those of you who came to the last SCOTUS trip, there were some. You could kind of stay away from them if you chose. All that to say, we love that you're here. We know that some of you are really passionate. If you get arrested, we cannot help you. So please don't get arrested. The bus can't wait for you, and we don't have a bail fund. So I support you, and if you get arrested, there's not a lot we can do to help you out. So do with that information what you'd like.
Yeah. What's that called? Bars?
I can't dance, it's not my revolution! Trans rights are human rights! Woo!
talking about how they have to be relationships right and for the other person.
Hear 'em.
I think I'm doing that again.
Okay, so I have one alarm for 1:45, and then one for 2. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to take a moment and acknowledge exactly how scared Jay and I were to go to this thing. I think this was one of her first protests. I don't know that. And it was certainly our first one in Washington. I had never done anything like this before. I just want to acknowledge how scary this crap is. Like, especially for somebody who has even an inkling of social phobia. I had an anxiety attack at every single thing I did in speaking my piece. That video I did, I'm going to link it at the end of this video so y'all can see it. And I'm going to keep going back to it. But then everything I did, every different event that I did in that video came with tears. And I think this was the last time I had an anxiety attack going to one of these protests. Because I was like, well, until the tear gas starts, there's no point in crying.
Today, we must stand for justice. This court does not show that they have the capacity or the will to do the right thing for our trans people and families. If we do not see that manifested, then what we must do is what Bernice Reagan said. We who stand for justice cannot rest until it comes. She wrote those lyrics for Ella Baker, who was fighting the civil rights fight. So I said,
no one protected me.
Why are your shitty decisions
At 22, I used crack and meth to suppress the pain of my mutilated body. I lay in bed planning my death. But a tiny spark of hope burned, and I sought help one more time. Not from gender-affirming clinicians, but from trauma-informed clinicians. I was diagnosed with PTSD from childhood abuse and from the transition itself. My body.
Okay, I am having a really hard time just processing this clip. The one time that I go to a protest where there's counter-protesters and they are like national level anti-protesters or protesters or counter-protesters, whatever the fuck they were, essentially the other side of the fence. And when I say the other side of the fence, I mean kind of literally, because there was like this little fence to keep us off the stairs, and it kind of came out this way and like that to kind of separate the groups. And it was almost practically a straight line back from the middle of that between the trans activists and the anti-trans activists. And I partially wanted to include the clip because this is the kind of rhetoric that the anti-trans community is hearing regularly. It's what they're buying, it's what they're selling, it's what they're consuming. And this person will not be, I'm not going to say this person's name or their gender. I will simply refer to them as this person. But if you are a member of the trans community, you can probably recognize this person. This person transitioned as an adult. I'm not saying we make great decisions in our 20s, but also at some point you are responsible for your own reality. And the complete disregard for the rest of the community that does not share this person's story is so vile. It's so vile. I've met people who did regret their decision to transition. Not very many, because a lot of them don't talk about their stories, and this was somebody I knew personally. They still don't use it to attack the trans community. I think trauma-based therapy is valid. But so is trans therapy. But that's why we have this clip here. I can tell you that this is probably one of the worst out of the whole video, so we didn't really have a whole lot of counter-protesters at any of the other stuff. The occasional asshole who would drive by and say, Trump's your president, or some dumb shit, but nothing quite like this experience.
But they are not broken. And need with them. I have to wear them next to you may be wondering what and I still want.
So the lady taking her picture with me and Jay is Rose. We love Rose. Rose is with the ACLU, who we went with on this trip. They're the ones who organized it because the ACLU is the one fighting this case.
What is it? So she says that these are artists, and that if you want to contribute, then you can contribute as well. Oh, cool.
The right to make medical decisions about our children.
That's awesome. Thank you. I love it. That is correct. When you're done with your photos. All right. Yeah. Sorry? Can we ask you about your sign? Where are you from? Delaware. The Daily Wire. Oh yeah, they're a bunch of assholes.
The reason that person freaked out because the Daily Wire wanted to speak to them was because the Daily Wire is just how do I describe the Daily Wire? A propagandist machine for crybaby wannabes. Factually disattached from reality. Middle school bathroom toilet gross. Like the underside of it that the janitor can't seem to get because they're old. They're that gross.
Well, this was actually created by one of our designers at ACLU, so I wouldn't be able to explain as much. But of course, it's representation of trans pride, and we want it to be about solidarity. So we're happy to be here and be a support, and also supporting, of course, Black trans as well.
Nice.
Just being very
I cut down a lot for all these issues. This is a big one.
Are you land illegal?
No, I just have the hat. My head was cold. So,
Understood.
yeah. Anyway, I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad everybody's here.
All right, thank you.
I was impressed with the number of people.
Read Vanderbilt. I love it. I love it.
My daughter's a librarian. How could I visit?
Absolutely. Six bikes. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6,
Jesus Christ. Yeah, closer than I ever wanted to be.
This year, we launched a new collective of ferocious warriors for access to abortion and reproductive justice writ large, but also for access to gender-affirming care, or as anyone with good sense will say, is just healthcare. And so many of our partners and comrades are scattered out in this crowd. I want to give y'all some love for showing up today. And let's give some love to all of the trans and non-binary youth who are showing up, who are speaking their truths for themselves. They ain't waiting for nobody. They know they're gonna take our rights. You can't take away our power. So I know in this moment there's a lot of fear and mourning and anger. But let me remind you that our people are no strangers to being failed by institutions. We are no strangers to being criminalized and detained, and we are no strangers to being misunderstood. Throughout our history, our people have always been radically defiant, and our people have always found a way. Compton's cafeteria and at Julius remind us our people have always found a way. Stonewall reminds us that our people have always found a way. The AIDS crisis reminds us that our people have always found a way. Ballroom, honey, reminds us that we have always found a way. So if they try to take our health care away, we gonna find a way. If they tell us we can't be ourselves, oh, we gonna find a way. They gonna try to keep us out of our bathrooms, we gonna find a way. And we will remind our queer and trans youth of their birthright. That they are worthy and valid. You are worthy and valid. Over fear. Courage over comfort. They will see a movement that declared with one united voice that every child deserves to shine in the fullness of who they are. The science is clear and irrefutable. Trans youth who receive appropriate medical care flourish. They light up classrooms and thrive. They strengthen their families with their truth. They enrich communities with their character. And every major medical association supports the care needed for these kids, and so do we.
It came from Israel. And I made a quick turn around real slow so they can see my back. I see that. Yep. Can we Hi. Sure. I'm Dottie. Okay. You don't selfie this. Okay.
Hi. We love you, West Virginia.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. That was amazing.
an amazing experience, and if I get the opportunity to do it again, I will. And this time I'm going with a nicer camera and try to get the stuff edited and out on time. I've held on to this. This happened in December. This was the first rally I went to of the season, but really it was in December. I'll try to link an article below so you can learn more. It was a very cool experience. And it brings me to my second tip. Find an organization that is already working on the problem that you want to see fixed. You want to find ones you morally align with, and it is okay to change around. It's much like, it's run by people. It's okay to move around a little bit. I really like working with the ACLU. Try to keep track of them, follow them on Facebook. You can't follow them all, much to my chagrin. I would love to. I have so many stickers on my tower, and you can see my bullhorn that somebody gave me. Well, that's another one. We'll talk about that one later. There are a lot of well-established organizations that are already working on this problem. 3 transgender teenagers in a trench coat does not an organization make yet. So, I want to be very clear here. I'm not saying you should only work with bigger organizations. I'm saying there is an advantage to working with bigger organizations. I also want to stress that it is a good idea to get involved in local organizations. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, but it's kind of one of those things, finding a layer that is comfortable for you. You're always going to be working this inside of your own schedule, your own capability, and certainly going to protests and things is hard. This is not the only way to get organized. And that is another thing, that some of these bigger organizations will have more information to help you organize locally. And that's just a suggestion. That's just been my experience. Everybody's will be different. And I know there are groups, smaller local groups, that don't want to work with bigger organizations. And sometimes you got to watch out for that. Make sure that it is not, especially with small organizations, you have to be careful that it's not ego-led, that it is purpose-led, because that will make a huge difference in its longevity and efficacy. So just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. So before we move on, I want to note that this was one of the few where we actually came in contact with a substantial number of counter-protesters. And I got to take this glorious picture. I took this with my cell phone, but I swear, I think it looks like it belongs in a magazine article about transphobia. Like, we got a little bit of everything. We've got the grand poobah of homophobia. We've got the meandering photographer, like, where's Waldo, dude? We have our island of non-binary trans folk holding the line. Just off to the back of them, we've also got the recovering meth addict who traded drugs for Jesus and made it all our problems. On the other side of the commandant of conservatism, we have Papa, who's only here because his crazy wife dragged him out of the house for this. He would have been just as happy, hating trans people from his laid-back chair with a beard, which is where we all wish he'd been. Sorry, Papa. And behind that, we have the Bimbo Brigade with their homemade signs. I don't even know where to begin. Sex change is a fantasy. Your sex life is a fantasy. Medication identifies as safe. You identify as a moral person. What's wrong with you? And At least they handmade theirs. There was only a few handmade signs on the other side. They were all very copy paste, kind of like their followers. And now to the plushy priest of thirdgender666.com. Sir, is that thing on your head still alive? You can't be that upset about the bears when you dress like a literal bear. Nobody wearing that much fur should be allowed to pick on the gays. Like, that should be illegal. Also, where are you a priest at? I'm gonna guess it's like this first self-righteous church of homophobia? I don't know. But I bet they wouldn't want me there. And I am never going back to that website, folks. That is MySpace on the wrong side. That's all I've got to say. I'm dead. Move on.
The reason MAGA and Republicans are taking over is because their people show up to rallies, they show up to protest, they show up at their senators and get in the face of your representatives every chance you get. The number two thing you can do, if you want to make a change, to think that your senators and your congresspeople are paying attention to are phone calls. Letters go in the trash, emails get deleted. Online petitions are ignored. So you want to be calling their district offices and their Washington offices every single day. Call them 6 calls a day. 6 calls a day. 6 calls a day. 6 calls a day.
Thank you.
No money is illegal.
Love that. I love it. Let's get it. Wait, hold on. Make America think again. I love it. How did you find the sticker? What's her face? It's right there.
All right, that's why I brought 4 pens.
Right. How you doing?
Like all of us.
Fucking cold and angry.
Yes. She's that way with the red coat on. She's a black lady.
I can see.
I'll just kind of slowly meander and give people a chance to grab stuff.
Are you? Yes.
All right, y'all. You know I had to show up. Got my flag on. You see, it's the inclusive flag. We're here.
Okay, so it may be a little bit early in the video to have a nervous breakdown, but we're going to move it along. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so a lot of what I learned from this protest, I didn't learn at the protest. I will say, like, you know, we did have Rose there with the ACLU cart pulling it around, but they did not organize this. In fact, the big lesson that I learned from this protest was that we cannot wait for perfect action. We cannot wait for perfect organization. 5051 was really nothing more than a Reddit thread at the time, and that is the group that sort of just sent out this flyer, and people showed up, and from there started networking, which is the big lesson, the networking. I will also give you one more resource for people who cannot protest. You can still get in the networking, but you can also go to 5calls.org. It's the number 5calls.org. That's what I got out of this protest. We could only be there for about an hour because Jay was on her lunch break. I will also say that it is very common for people to honk their horns. So just because you hear horns honking doesn't mean those are like counter protesters. Those are usually people with us. They're, you know, helping amp up the crowd.
Thank you all for being here on this beautiful spring-like day. Couldn't have designed a better time to come out and fight for our democracy. If any one of us walked into that building with a portable hard drive or a thumb drive and decided to take some information, we would be in jail by the end of today. So, what I want to say is let's start tomorrow. We got a whole set of facets right here in West Virginia that are helping take rights away from every marginalized community. All right, everyone. How's everyone feel this morning? This is our country. This is our country. This is the country of the people, by the people, for the people, not all the billionaires. That's fine. There's a way to do it. It's called Congress. It is not called unelected, unvetted, little pet boys walking into our government buildings with our information. This is not the way we go about doing it.
Okay, here we go. Yep. We're walking. We're walking. Okay, so I gotta tell you, every time I hear the hey, hey, ho, ho chants, all I could think of was this old, like, 90s stoner college movie. And I think it was called The Pit.
But in the 90s, there were a whole lot of these movies about these get-rich-quick schemes to save something. And so the premise of this movie was the dean was like, if you don't come up with the money, then you're going to lose your frat house. And of course, it's a stoner movie. But at one point, everybody, like, you have all these pieces, and all these different people are supposed to get these pieces, and they all fail at getting the piece that they were supposed to, but they get some other piece. And one of the things they had to get were, you know, people had to show up to this giant party to get the money to save the pit. So this they go out and basically redirect the feminist club that were out there going, hey, hey, ho, ho, this penis party's got to go. And they redirected them and got them basically to come in and enjoy the party. Yeah. It was a 90s movie, man. It was a 90s movie. If you remember it, then you probably weren't there.
Hey, ho ho, Elon Musk has got to go. Hey, ho ho, Elon Musk has got to go. Hey, hey, ho ho, Elon Musk has got to go. Hey, hey, ho ho, Elon Musk has got to go. Hey. I'm already.
That's oh, my fingers are already cold. Let's go dump the pros. Let's go dump the proles, I think it's proles, like the proletariat. No, we're the proletariat. Bro. Dump the bros. Oh, like tech bros. Let's go dump the bros. Let's get the billionaires out of the building. Get the billionaires out of the building. Am I the last house will stop yelling? Yeah. Hey, hey, oh, Elon Musk has got to go. Hey, hey, oh, Elon Musk has got to go. Hey, hey, oh, Elon Musk has got to go. Hey, hey, oh, Elon Musk has got to go. Hey, hey, oh, Elon Musk has got to go. Hey, hey, oh, Elon Musk has got to go. Hey, hey, Elon Musk has got to go. Hey, hey, Elon Musk has got to go. Bringing up the rear here again. We got our one. Hey, I still got the footage from Washington. I will do something. I got it. Oh, it's all right. But thank you. Yeah. Looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Yeah. Nice. Get your picture of your sign there. Love it. Hey, you got cute boots too. Yeah, I was like, I wish they were a little bit longer, but like they were just perfect. I gotta leave a little space for my foot's a little wider. Yeah.
No Trump! No KKK! No fascist USA! No Trump! No KKK! No fascist USA! No Trump! No KKK! No fascist USA!
You know, each time any of us show up, then more people show up the next time. I think we should.
You're not the only one doing it.
Right, and also you tell your friends. I noticed people showing up as the march has been going on. Have you noticed that we've gotten a little bit bigger?
Have we really?
Yeah. Yeah, because I've been like trying to get footage of stuff, and I'm like, notice there's more and more people.
Oh, that's great.
Right.
Yeah.
Not just
that is
cool. Yeah, it's been interesting. So where's my friend at? This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Okay, so one tip for the people who are going to protests: wear appropriate clothing for the weather. I actually did. I did. More so in the Washington one. We layered up because it was supposed to be very cold. This one was just as cold. It was February 12th, I think. I'm going to put an article in the description. That description is going to be so full. But it was so cold, and I had gloves on, but they were like, they were fingerless. They were mittens that had like fingerless. You could pull the mitten part back so you could use your fingers. And that was enough to make my fingers ache, because I would take the thing off so I could hold the megaphone. Bullhorn? Megaphone? Whatever. Anyway, so I could hold it, and my fingers hurt so bad. A tip for everybody is to find a friend that is willing to do this with you. Whatever that looks like. The two of you making a game plan or just working on stuff together. I want to thank Jay for coming with me on this one specifically, because we had to go through my old hometown. And that was a lot. There's a lot there to unpack that we're not doing in this episode. I'm just glad she was there to kind of to help me out, to go through that town with me. Yeah. Just, you gotta find a friend who is willing to be there with you through these kind of things. You don't have to go it alone. And sometimes you find a friend there that will go through these kind of things with you. So, and that's a good thing about going to a protest. There's some social element to it. Probably talk about that later. The last thing I wanted to say, and this is again one of those protest things. Make sure you're not screaming the chants. You're not screaming them. You are saying them loudly and methodically. You're kind of singing and enunciating, but you are not screaming. You are going to destroy your vocal cords if you are screaming at people for 2 hours straight, because that's about how long these usually last. Yeah. So just be mindful of that. There you go. That's a lot of fun.
Taking advantage of the federal holiday to protest at West Virginia's Capitol, Voices Ignited West Virginia organized a President's Day protest today, taking a stand against what they say is corruption threatening our communities. A strong motive for the rally is pushback against billionaires in America, they say.
People are generally upset with the way that our government is acting. This is what democracy looks like. And we're trying to teach the government that they have to respond to us. We are what the government is made of. We are the people. We are the ones that they are supposed to be taking care of, and they haven't.
The group organized President's Day protests at the state capitol, Cabell County Courthouse, and the Monongalia Courthouse as well.
We have a guest, our first interview here on Chaos Conjure. Feel free to introduce yourself, that way we don't screw it up.
My name is Hollis Lewis. I'm a delegate representing the 57th District here in Kanawha County, South Charleston, Dunbar, and a little bit of Charleston.
We did the damn thing today.
What the fuck happened? Can we talk about this?
Let's tell them how it went down.
Okay, I'm going to tell the story before I tell you what the moral is, because this was such a specific things. Oh my god. Okay. Moral of the story at the end. I'm not giving it away. So, as these kind of things have started to really go on, a lot of us have joined little Facebook groups, Discord, Signal, Telegram. Those seem to be the big ones. We're all in a group somewhere out there on the internet pulling it together. Well, people like in the 5051 group started off on Reddit. It's now being organized elsewhere, at least locally.
And they put out a flyer for noon for President's Day. Not my President's Day. That one was supposed to be the one that happened at noon. Ignite Voices, another group that is not active in the area anymore. I haven't seen anything out of them. I tried to get involved. But they were working with the Women's March. And so the Women's March helped out by setting up a Facebook event. And literally in the Facebook event, it says, we're not organizing this. We're just supporting Ignite Voices. So everybody got this message to be out there. It was also Fairness Day. Fairness West Virginia is a reputable organization. We love fairness. We love fairness. They have an event every year. And it just happened to be that day. Unfortunately, it closed at noon. I think they may have done that so that they wouldn't be confused with the protest because people didn't really know what was going to go on. And when you are not in charge of a protest, you know, it has the potential to do funny things. Which we did not allow. So it was this very, very unique blend of disorganized chaos that happened because so Jay and I showed up at like noon. We go, Fairness Day is shutting down. There are only a few tables left. One of them was the Fairness Day table itself, and it had these leave a message for your delegate, senator, leave a message for your representative card. So we grabbed a stack of those, and we were upstairs talking to our buddies from the ACLU because, you know, been to a few protests and we're starting to make friends. There's a social element to this, especially if you're going to go to the arguably more important in some ways, these like civil liberties days. Like the ACLU does a day, Fairness does a day, everybody's got a day. The social workers, everybody's got a day, you know, lobby day. So they had Justice and Jubilee had ink pens. So I grabbed 4. I remember I grabbed 4. So we have these and we go out. Like when we got there at noon, nobody was outside. There was a few people milling around and like, okay, well, what's going on? Are we doing this or not? We come back outside after the Fairness, and there's a few people gathering up, and we're sitting on the step, and people are chit-chatting back and forth, and cars are occasionally honking, and we woo the cars, but nothing's really happening, and nobody's standing up, and it is, I think it was like 12:30, because I remember thinking, and Jay and I were talking like, this is not gonna last until 2 o'clock if somebody doesn't start doing something. We have a stack of these cards. I am not a fan of writing a lot of notes. Like I've written articles. I'm pretty good at it, but I'm not really a fan. I have to have a purpose to generate something. I could not just do a million of these. So we started passing them out to engage the crowd. We get them all passed out. And I remember yelling, it's not my pen, it's not your pen, keep it moving, which everybody thought was very, very witty. And so we did that. Jay and I start warming up the crowd. She takes all of them inside, except for one Casey grabbed after that. Anyway, so she comes back outside, and I'm sitting there alone waiting for her to come back. And so I'm waiting. I'm like, okay, when she gets back, because I don't have the guts to really just do this by myself. But something needs to be done. And so when she gets back, before she can even make it to the line, I start engaging the crowd. I'm like, what are you here for? Tell me why you're here. What brought you out? Blah, 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 blah. Start working the crowd. I'm a showman, man. I'm a showman. Man? Yeah, whatever. I love a parade. It's the boom, da boom, da boom, da boom, da boom, da boom, da boom. That's what happened. So
We go at this. It's probably 45 minutes into this because it's almost... No, it was longer than that. Good God. Just working the crowd back and forth. We're working off of each other. People are, they're listening, they're responding. We're all grooving and moving, and we're doing the chants, back and forth chants. I'm like pulling people, like, okay, what did you want people to know? So we start that chant and moving on to the next one. At some point, my voice cracks. And it is at this moment, somebody handed me a lozenge, and then somebody comes up from my left and hands me a bullhorn that I have now decorated in stickers. If this was your bullhorn, I'm sorry. So we get this bullhorn, and somebody else comes at me with a microphone and speaker set, and I am like, Jay, there you go. And she starts working the backstage. Like, we introduce ourselves, we get it rolling, and then she starts working the backstage. She's lining them up, telling them what to do. I'm keeping the stage hot between sets. We ran the show. At some point, this Fox News pulls me over to the side because she wouldn't go talk to him. I still think it's funny that they said Ignite Voices did it because, that was one of the flyers. But when they asked me who was organizing, I said, this isn't organized. This is a product of the rage and fear of the people. They didn't like that answer. Can't imagine why. But that happened. So we worked the crowd for a while, and I noticed at one point, we had the sigil that we wanted to do at 2:00. It's right here. Boop. That was from our little Discord group. We wanted to do this thing. We were like, okay, we're gonna do something magical. We did something magical. So at 2:15, everybody chanted this chant, and it was amazing. It was so powerful. And then we went back to chanting, and people were coming up and telling their stories and talking about what was going on and really getting engaged and sharing resources. It was amazing. It was I thought it was one of the best because I was just randomly put in charge. I am really good at showing up in the moment, I guess. Sometimes. So that happened. After a while, these things last for about 2 hours, people get tired and start peeling off. I notice a chunk of people peel off. I'm like, okay, people are getting restless. Let's go for a walk. Everybody up. So we all stand up and we marched around the Capitol. Yep. And I'm in front with the bullhorn, leading this parade. So I was not able to see that Jay had fallen back to keep an eye on the mic and speaker that had been linked to her, and the signs and our stuff. She stayed behind to make sure it was all right. So while we were on this march, I guess she had leaned her signs up against this gentleman's car. Delegate Hollis Lewis. Sorry. So just as we're coming around the corner, he hands her his card. I'm like, are you going to hand us her card, or are you going to actually, show up? Do you want to come on the podcast? You can come on the podcast. I was a little aggressive. Can't imagine why. My blood was a little up from just the day.
So if you want to see that episode of Chaos Conjure, I will leave that link in the description below. Check it out. Wow. So the moral of the story is, if you intentionally manifest something, then you better be able to hold up your end of the bargain. And I think we did. I really think we did. I'm proud of us. So that was the lesson. If you're gonna stand up, you better be ready to stand all the way up. If you're gonna try and manifest something, you better be prepared to receive. I don't regret anything I've done in any of these videos, but sometimes there are points where I look back and like, oh, this was an opportunity and I missed it. And I am going to give myself enough grace to understand that I didn't have a chance to prepare to interview a member of the House of Delegates. But also, I'm going to take a moment and correct myself, because I feel like I did not stand up enough for my community in this interview. Not so much the pagan community, because, you know, we are and we will always be. But the trans community, we all know, has been under active attack, and I really kind of wish I had taken the opportunity to grill him just a little bit on that. And I want to apologize to my trans viewers for not taking that opportunity. I love you. I see you. That's all I got to say there.
Well, we did get one in Washington. Yes, and Parkersburg. And Parkersburg, yeah, that was a fun one. That was a fun one. So let's talk about what you can do besides just protest, but also get your ass out here. Where the fuck are you? Right. That was a little rough for you too, but here we are. This is what we're doing. Oregon? Yep. Have 50 flag. Come on.
I already had 3 children who needed their mother. And now I have a 9-month-old baby boy. A baby I might never have had if I stayed in Charleston and continued waiting for care. It's a very real possibility that my fertility could have been affected and that my future pregnancies could have been put at risk, all because of cruel and unnecessary restrictions on health care. Lawmakers need to stay out of doctors' offices. These decisions belong to us, to our families, and the medical professionals we trust. They affect our whole families and our entire futures. I will continue to share my story for babies like Case, who shouldn't be forced to birth only to suffer until their death. Thank you, Kristen, for your courage and sharing your experience. Now let's unite.
Tell us a little bit about what's going on here.
Okay, we have an umbrella group called the West Virginia Democratic Federation of Democratic Women. We have a local club in Kanawha County called the Kanawha County Club, and we meet on the 3rd Tuesday of every month. Our next meeting is March the 18th on the 3rd floor of the Kanawha County Library. You can park at the parking building on Summer Street and walk across the 3rd floor bridge and come right into the floor where we are. 5:30, March 18th will be our next meeting. We'd love to have new members.
Let's check it out, right?
Nice.
Organize.
Hello. Can I pet your dog? Hello, doggy. Can I pet you?
Say hi.
Hi, doggy. Oh, sweet little dog. It's ear time. So right now we are in a very bizarre middle of the movie moment where our protagonists have become a bit burnt out, have realized their efforts have been for naught, and the situation is far grimmer than what had been suspected And this is also the last protest that Jay went with me to. I obviously have continued going since this is the middle of the video. And she also got a better job. Like, that's part of it, is not letting this get completely over your head, because you can really lose yourself in this stuff. You can really lose yourself in these protests and things, and I certainly have, as evidenced by. But also, I think this moment really drove home that you have to do something besides just go to protests. I do think it was an important one, but it was really hard to stomach after all the other ones we'd been through. Okay, so I don't want to be too, like, I don't want to make this event sound that sucky, because it really wasn't. It really was just that Jay and I had put so much into protesting at this point. Like, the protest that we had been to prior was the one that we took over. So then to go from that to what was essentially like a lobby day trying to be a protest, and it just didn't pan out quite right. The vibe, it was a little mellow. It wasn't terrible. It was good to see people who had been too scared to protest before or hadn't been able to get out while they were going on out there, because it was a Saturday and it was a nice weather. So people who were elderly were able to come and participate. People were able to bring, I don't think I saw any children in this one, but I do see children in some of the other ones. So it was more of a civics day. It was International Women's Day. So there's plenty of things to talk about and need to be aware of, but also at this point I think that it really drove home that protests are never just enough. You can't go out and protest and do nothing else and expect change. If you're gonna go out, and that's like, that's the lesson I really got about that. And that's kind of one of the things I know I've been kind of driving it home, because partially it's really hard to go out there and protest. It's hard on the nerves. It really is hard on your nerves. And then, like, to go to one of these days where it really was nice. It was accessible. That's great. It was great to see people out there who may not be able or willing to go and scream at a building for 2 hours. To give people a chance to participate at that level, because we need people at all levels. But it was hard to participate at this level and then drop down to this level. It's not that it was bad. There were more resources, which is good. And I did end up going to the Democratic Women's Club. I'm actually a member now. I went to one meeting. I missed the second one because I put my head in the sand because I burn out doing all this crap. Which is honest. So, I'm going to take a minute and remember why we have to be vigilant and have to stand up for our rights. And I'm going to show you a picture here. This is Mada. He was a female impersonator back when Anita Bryant was being an ass on stage. He survived gay bashings, and he told me he was proud of me for going to these protests. And I'm not gonna lie, that has been a big impetus for me to continue to do this work. And I think that this protest also kind of brought home the fact that there are so many levels of participation. And sometimes just because it feels like a lower level of participation just means that it's not your level of participation. There's plenty of other things that need to happen, that we all need to be working together, and we need to kind of keep going. There are moments of explosive action, but unless we can take those moments of explosive action and put that energy to use, it kind of gets lost. We kind of watched that happen with the whole Occupy Wall Street, that nobody really understood So it really didn't go as far as it needed to because it was a little directionless. That's just my opinion. There are people out there studying things deeper than I do, and that's fine. If you've got an opinion, feel free to share it in the comments. Certainly, if you're going to be an asshole and call me out on something, then bring your references, bring us some resources. Don't just be a dick.
Trans rights are human rights.
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 Trans rights are human rights. Trans rights are human rights.
Trans rights are human rights.
Trans rights are human rights.
Trans rights are human rights.
Trans rights are human rights.
Trans rights are human rights.
Woo!
Trans rights are human rights. Trans rights are human rights. Human rights.
Woo! Trans lives matter.
Leave trans kids alone. Trans lives matter. Leave trans kids alone.
Okay, tell us a little bit about what's going on with what you're doing.
I'm one of the psychologists in the areas that works with gender-affirming care and trans kids. And the second any of this came out, I sent crisis out to all my kids because I don't want to lose any of them. I've had scared kids. I've had angry kids. We have text chains because I don't want to lose kids because they're still people. Thankfully, there's still a lot of professionals working to help keep care going. But we're gonna start catching flack from our organizations. I've already been told to change to a different diagnosis coding in case they stop paying for therapy. And so it just hurts my heart. And these kids deserve a chance to be happy.
H-O-T-T-O-G-O, you can take me hard to go.
All right.
Shot with my cup here.
There you go. Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I had to do that.
I know you had to.
Okay, ask me questions.
All right. Who are you?
I'm Casey.
Okay. All right. Now tell me what brought you out here today. Why does this affect you?
I'm really mad about everything going on in the country and the state against trans people. As a teacher, it just, really makes me mad that they're attacking trans kids that I love so dearly. And, have in my classroom like every day. And they just want to live in peace. They don't, we're not influencing them to be anything. They just are who they are.
Trans rights are human rights. Trans rights are human rights.
Yeah, I've only been coming to UC for a while. I just moved to Charleston in January, so I'm not like an established member or anything yet, but it's just one way I'm trying to be involved in the community, I guess.
So what brings you out here today?
Today, well, we had the service today, so that was the first reason that I was here, and then last week after the service we all made these wonderful signs together. Everybody's got some really awesome ones. And we're just out here trying to make a stand, trying to make our voices heard. I think I've been really encouraged so far by how many honks and encouragement that we're getting. I think it really shows, there's a narrative right now that there's a mandate or that this is a popular thing to do to attack the rights of transgender people, and I don't think that's really true. I think ordinary people are supporting us, and we've seen that so far today.
Nice.
Hey! No justice!
Transphobia's got to go! Transphobia's got to go!
Trans lives matter. Trans lives matter.
I'm out here because trans rights matter. As a trans person myself, I am personally affected, and I've got lots of friends, family, and even people I don't know who are affected. It matters. And we've got to do something to make change and stop the transphobia.
Trans rights are human rights. Trans rights are human rights.
Trans rights are human rights!
Trans rights are human rights. Okay, so somewhere in between the last protest that was kind of the middle point, existential breakdown, and I took a little break there in the middle. My birthday, and also I decided I was going to start a documentary on the pagan community, so I got me a very, very nice camera. It is a Lumix S9, and I love it dearly. It's probably more camera than I am equipped to handle, but we're learning. And I also got me a very nice microphone that I also don't entirely know how to use appropriately, but it's working. We're getting there, little piece at a time, day by day as it were. This particular protest, it was smaller, obviously, like a little, it was definitely not like the one before it where it's like permits and well organized. This one was very local, very in the community, and that's what it reminded me to do. This protest, more than any other ones, reminded me to be a part of my community first. Like the mutual aid, the getting together and enjoying life, going to whatever real social gatherings that you can, that are just to be with your people. And I'm glad that they were doing the protest, but I got way more out of being around my friends than I did out of yelling at cars.
My turn start with the painful scenes. I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss. See, I got my mind on the facts. I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Alright, so what are you guys here for today?
For other kids like me, yeah, support it. Like I want us to have a future.
Fair enough.
It's scary.
Yeah, especially in schools and stuff. Trans kids are not supported, especially in my school. And it's a problem. It's really a problem. I feel like I have to hide myself.
Yeah,
but I'm tired of it. So we need to go against the legislation.
Yeah, their signs for them.
Here we go. Oh no, I pushed the wrong button. Oh. There we go. That's why I'm going to the back.
Get a shot.
Oh yeah. Did you not see it?
He showed me. I had no idea.
Can I get a picture? Sorry. Thank you. Dude, like old dog. Didn't old dog? I mean, old dog died, but
Was there a pre-baby dog?
there was a pre-baby dog.
We have plans to use the ACLU, West Virginia, and the West Virginia Trans Coalition, the organization put it on today. We put on a rally to certify their trans. We will be doing these fights again. We are going to continue.
So, this one is actually the second of its, we were going to have one last year, but some things happened, so they got canceled. There was a massive clawback, and they said it wasn't an appropriate time to worry about trans matters because we might make everybody angry. I still think we should have done it. But, the delicacies of politics.
TB screenings and rapid lipids. They're on the floor right now being recognized. But
Oh, cool. What is our total? Do you know?
What is our total?
Yeah.
Like, how many of these have we done?
Screenings today? Total screenings?
So we had 60 lipids. Let me see how many.
We're a nonprofit, and we run most of West Virginia's social service and behavioral health helplines. So 988 Suicide Prevention Lifeline, Help for WV Addiction and Mental Health Helpline, Children's Crisis Line, Gambling Addiction Helpline, Health Insurance Enrollment Help. So those kind of programs.
Okay, so a little bit of everything.
Yep.
Okay. The Catastrophic Illness Commission. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yes, we provide life-saving treatment for people with life-threatening illnesses in West Virginia once all of the resources are gone. So if somebody has a job, gets cancer, too sick to work, loses their insurance, or gets a little too much in Social Security and then they lose their Medicaid, we can step in and help with that gap. We can help up to $200,000 in medical and up to $5,000 in related travel. And the legislature provides the funding for this.
Nice.
So I always say, if you save one thing today, save this brochure because it can save your life. Somebody's life. As long as they have that number, we take an application right over the phone and it doesn't cost them anything. It's free.
Okay, that's definitely going in the video. Thank you. The big steps. Hey! Hey, look, we know them. Can't see them around the big steps. There's like a whole little thing going on. Did anybody else show up?
Not yet.
Wasn't it supposed to be at 11?
Yep.
Okay.
It took us forever to find anyone.
I went inside. I was like here at 11. I was like, and I'm not just... I went inside. There's like a really cool thing going on. They have a professionals day of some sort. I'm still running my camera.
Career day type thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that one was short and sweet. Two things. Number one, don't try to do a protest the day after a protest, because that was actually like the fourth day in a row that I had done some sort of protesty thing. One of them was a class, and then I did like the UUC, then the Trans Day of Visibility, and then this day. But this day, I think I got out quite a bit of stuff just because I learned that nearly every day that the legislative session is in, it's also a lobby day for different groups. Like this one was Social Workers Lobby Day. And it can be a great way to find a job. It can be a great way to find resources. There's different nonprofit or grant-based organizations will table kind of to justify their funding. But it's a great way to find resources for the community.
I love your hat.
Thank you. I made it myself.
Really?
Oh, that's a rough one. Yeah, let's, so I love your sign here.
My mommy made it for me, and she made the shirt.
Nice. Gotta get a close in. I love that. Okay, so tell me what you were just saying.
I used to be a professional seamstress for cops, fire, and EMS in the Ohio Valley, and the horrors I have heard just secondhand sitting in that seamstress room, saying stuff like, "Oh, I'm so glad that Trump's in office. Now I get to hit those trannies if I see them in the bathrooms." And that's me. That's my partner. That's my friends. I'm a drag kid. Like, hearing them talk about horrors and talking so proudly about shooting people over parking tickets, I'd lost all respect to my law enforcement.
Fair enough.
Like, genuine stories, like,
He was bragging about getting to shoot someone over 3 parking tickets and that he only got 2 weeks of paid vacation. ACAB, all the fucking way. I quit that job as soon as I was able to get out. And I love sewing. I did not want to give it up. I love being a seamstress. I hated having to listen to the cops talk about what they were proud of.
Sorry. I'll say I'm a nurse. I get people all the time.
Hey, Morrissey, go back to Brooklyn, you bum!
Woo!
I got the car, I got the feathers, where's Morrissey?
Check microphone number 1. Check. Make sure you're tweeting and Facebooking and Instagramming and use the hashtag HandsOffWV.
This is the.
Hello.
Why do I want hands off? There's a water pool.
Not gonna need it, huh?
Look who it is! Hi, bye-bye. Hey. I think this is the last one I'm recording before I put this video together. I keep trying to get as many as I can, but like, I got some for folks here, so if you got other friends showing up, they can use these. Everything on the table is free, folks. Take anything you like, except for the art prints, which are available for a gift of $20 or more to the ACLU of West Virginia. Thank you for being a member.
Do you have like a card? I've been meaning to send
There you are.
Thank you.
Very cool. So everybody, look who it is again. Sammy.
Always
down how to. Always.
She's taking a video.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
Let's make sure. We're giving out a shit about the
Love it.
The party of Ronald Reagan is now doing the bidding of a former KGB agent who wants to reconstitute the Soviet Union, and they want to say that we're communists? Hell no! The gospel of Jesus Christ all over supporting diversity, all over promoting equity and opening the kingdom of God to all people.
around since the 70s. It's an offshoot of the National Organization for Women, which was started in the 60s, back when women couldn't get credit cards, they couldn't have certain loans in their own name, they had to have their husband sign, and things have changed, but not enough.
Right.
And we're going back, so we need now, again, we need to organize for women's rights as well as all people's rights.
Right. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I know it's like awkward. I was hoping to get it before they started talking.
But everybody come and say it with me, the next governor of W.V. Absolutely cannot be from New Jersey.
Everyone deserves a chance to live a healthy, safe, and free life. That shouldn't be a privilege, it should be a right. I support a women's right to health care because our bodies are not up for debate. We deserve the freedom to make decisions about our own health without fear, shame, or government interference.
Great delegate from here in Kanawha County, and not only is she a delegate, she is also a social media influencer and a rock star. We're lucky to have her here with us today.
Gerrymandered it away from me to try to beat me a couple years ago, and then I won by less than 60 votes. So if you ever think that your vote doesn't matter, every single one matters.
And what's happening right now, this administration has cut nearly 10% of the staff at the Mine Safety and Health Administration. They completely obliterated the health and safety research programs in Pittsburgh and Morgantown that have protected tens of thousands of miners across this country. We cannot accept that. We cannot allow for that to happen. We are fighting against it. The United Mine Workers Union is fighting against it. I hope you will speak up and tell this administration we reject the closure of our mine safety offices. It's not something we're going to tolerate in West Virginia or the United States of America.
We are gathered, whether in body or in spirit, because we love this state. We believe in its people, and we refuse to accept policies that leave our communities behind. For too long, those in power, both in Washington and here in Charleston, have put politics ahead of the people they serve. Instead of working to improve our schools, they attack our teachers and slash funding for public education. Instead of making sure every West Virginian has access to quality health care, they play games with Medicaid and try to dismantle programs that keep our families healthy. And instead of focusing on creating real economic opportunities, they hand out tax rates to the wealthy and leave working people to fend for themselves. This is not leadership. It's failure. And it's West Virginians who pay the price. We deserve leaders who will invest in our children's future, protect rural hospitals and healthcare access, and build an economy that works for everyone, not just the well-connected. That's what government should do. That's what we should demand. I've spent my entire career working for our workers, our families, and our communities. But real change doesn't come from one person. It comes from you. It comes from West Virginians raising their voices, standing together, and refusing to be ignored. So today I urge you, keep up the fight. Hold your leaders accountable. Demand better, because West Virginia is worth fighting for. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for your listening. And know that I am with you always.
All right, keep it going for performance. So it's a great honor that I introduce to you Zach Shrewsbury. How y'all doing? So as you know, I'm Zach Shrewsbury. I have an organization called Blue Jay Rising. We've been doing flood relief nonstop for the past almost 2 months. It's been running supplies across the coal fields. We've seen little support from our state government. Now, I'm saying here today after Republicans refuse to fund our flood relief for us. So how much more are we supposed to take, West Virginia?
some photo ops, but we're out here bailing each other out with buckets and bare hands. The GOP doesn't give a damn about any of us. They never have. This isn't leadership. It's cowardice, it's corruption, and it's failure.
Hey, how you doing? Good, how are you? I'm tired and hot. I'm going home.
So, making this video has been cathartic. Going to these protests has been cathartic and inspiring. But I realize if I want to make real change, then I gotta make a real move. Which is why I am running for the House of Delegates in District 61. So if you see Dorothy Burcham on your ballot, vote for me. And if you think you can do better, then it's time to put up or shut up. Safe travel and much profit to you.